So let's dive into all this and bring back in our friend, Fundstrat Managing Partner and Head of Research, Tom Lee. Are we wrong to say that Nvidia matters to the overall market?
Nvidia is hugely important. A lot of eyes are on tomorrow, as you said, and it's going to be very telling us about how much firepower still exists in the market. If Nvidia has a great report and rallies, I think it's going to confirm we're not really at the top of the first half 2024 market top. But there's an equal chance that Nvidia has a great number and the stock sells off. And I think that's going to tell us perhaps a lot of the buying power is used up. So I think it's very important.
Yeah, here's the thing about Nvidia, and I'll give my take, and you say, no, Sullivan, you're wrong as usual, which is Nvidia will probably beat street estimates on EPS and sales. Okay, they do every quarter. It's a measure, I suspect, of obviously the guidance matters a ton, but how much they beat by. This could be a time, Tom, where we see a company blow away estimates, and it still not be good enough.
Yes. Anecdotally, I'm finding a lot of our clients thinking the company is going to beat and sell off, which tells me...
Exactly what I just said.
Yes. And that's why I actually think the bigger surprise would be Nvidia rallies tomorrow, and it shows there's still legs left in the rally of the first half. But that's just an anecdote.
How much matters in the guidance versus the actual quarterly numbers last quarter?
All of it's going to matter. And as you know, because a lot of things have been priced into it, people are going to look for little wrinkles and, blemishes. So a lot is priced in. But, I think if there is a sell-off, I actually think it's going to be buyable for the most part.
And you've been bullish. You've been right. You've been out there with there's like a couple of you guys that were on your own island for most of 2023. It's a very lonely place, by the way.
Yeah.
But you survived, like Tom Hanks. You had a volleyball as a friend, and you've prospered. You still remain bullish for the year.
Yes.
Is Nvidia the biggest risk to the market? Is the Fed the biggest risk to the market? Is the election the biggest risk to the market? We have to factor in the macro stuff. What do you think most about?
I think the Fed's the biggest risk because the market needs to broaden, and it's going to broaden when interest rate cuts start to get priced and investors begin to think about that roadmap. And if inflationary pressures don't ease and the Fed starts to sort of second guess that, I think it puts a lot of pressure on stocks.
Is there a not zero chance, or is there a zero chance we get a rate hike this year? People are now starting to talk about that again. Or is that a 0% chance in your mind?
I mean, I think that the probability is low in actuality, but the market could get concerned about it. And if it does, that would put pressure on stocks.
January is 1 month doth not a trend make, as you know more than anybody. January's numbers were hot. We saw in the early 80s, late 70s, inflation can look like it's whipped and then it comes back up, right? We saw that again. It can be sticky, as they say. If we get more hot inflation data for February, does that hit stocks? Because now the Fed is suddenly back in play again.
I mean, I'd say it's really bad if inflation's hot in February, because how would you convince the bond market and the Fed that inflation's falling? But that would not be our central view. I think there was a lot of one-offs and even, bad seasonality that makes January CPI look hot. I think February CPI could be quite soft, but it's too early still.
Where's the best place to make money in the stock market right now?
Well, I think if someone is saying, where's the best risk reward, I like small caps because their valuations are attractive. Price to book is still 44% of the S&P. That's still the launch point where they were in 99. They're big beneficiaries when the Fed starts cutting. Expectations are low, and actually delivered earnings haven't been bad. So I think it's good risk reward, but, tomorrow...
We've been there before. The valuations you cite have been there, and people have ignored it. And I do wonder, and I'm going to tick off half the audience or more right now, if the Mag 7 sells off, the S&P is probably in trouble because they're so huge, right? But that means people are raising cash. They're selling, they're taking profits, they're raising cash. Could a Mag 7 sell-off be the best thing for the small caps?
In a way, because you're right. You know, Russell 2000's 8% of the S&P, so it wouldn't take a lot of reallocation into small caps to make a big move. There's still $6 trillion of cash on the sidelines, and margin debt is way below where it was in 2021. So I still think there's a lot of firepower in the sideline.
I think.
So to recap, Tom Lee said tomorrow's earnings report will confirm how much firepower is left in the markets. If they sell off, the AI firepower could be used up for the first half of 2024. He said most likely they will be estimates, but it's by how much and will it be good enough. Tom said it will be a bigger surprise for them to rally after earnings tomorrow. That actually shocked me. Stock already has a lot priced in, and if there is a sell-off, he said it will be viable. He remains bullish for the whole year and the rest of the year on Nvidia. He said the Fed is the biggest risk to Nvidia and the markets with interest rates. The probability is very low for a hike, but if the market spooks and thinks one's coming, there could be a sell-off. He said it's very bad if inflation comes in hot in February as well, because it came in hot in January. Small caps are the best risk-reward. He said expectations are low and earnings haven't been bad. And he also quoted the $6 trillion in cash on the sidelines. He said lots of firepower to keep the markets going. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.